His co-worker Michelle Mockbee in 2012. Anjanette Levy tells us what her family has to say and why Dooley will be back in court soon.
Commonwealth of Kentucky versus David Dooley.
David Dooley didn't say anything during his brief sentencing hearing for the murder of Michelle Mockbee, but Mockbee's family had a lot to say.
43 years in prison is just not enough for the act of pure evil.
Since her sister's murder on May 29, 2012, Jennifer Schneider has spoken for her family. Mockbee had 2 young daughters, Carly and Madeline, and a husband, Dan, along with 3 siblings.
Michelle was such a huge part of our family's lives, and now we're left with a tremendous void since she is no longer with us. The constant sadness and anger of losing Michelle in such a brutal manner will always remain with us.
One of Mockbee's close friends spoke about missing her and how the murder has impacted her to this day.
From that day forward, I have not felt safe. I don't feel safe by myself. I don't feel safe at home. And I most certainly don't feel safe when I walk into my job.
Mockbee was murdered at work the day after Memorial Day in 2012. Prosecutors said Mockbee had discovered Dooley and his wife were cheating on their time cards, a point Dooley's attorneys conceded at trial. But they said that Dooley did not kill Mockbee. The case against Dooley was based mostly on circumstantial evidence. Mockbee's family is convinced as ever the right man is behind bars.
We're just happy that it's over with, and I know there's an appeal that's expected, but it's not going to go anywhere.
In a separate case, Dooley's accused of using a minor in a sexual performance. That allegation involves a woman he knew in 2007 who is now in college. Dooley's attorneys say he's innocent of that as well as a child pornography possession charge he faces. Those trials could be held this summer. Rob?
Anjanette, thanks very much. In Kentucky, prisoners are eligible for parole after serving 20 years. And since Dooley has been in prison for nearly 7 already, he could have a shot at freedom in 13 years.
A jury is now deliberating the fate of a babysitter accused of beating a 3-year-old girl to death. David Winter is live at the Butler County Courthouse with closing arguments in Lindsey Parton's murder trial. David.
Yeah, the jury has now been out for, looks like, about 60 minutes. Parton facing charges of murder, involuntary manslaughter, and child endangerment. The defense and prosecution today painstakingly laying out their cases for and against conviction.
And the state would submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, that none of these other explanations are reasonable in light of the evidence before you. So you're left with one reasonable explanation for Hannah's injuries on March 6th, 7th, and 8th.
The evidence did not show, absolutely did not show beyond a reasonable doubt that Lindsey Parton killed this child.
The prosecution focusing on the hospital pictures of Hannah with bruises on her head, her face, her chest, including a black eye, and of course the medical evidence showing a bleeding brain. The prosecution recalling the 5 Google searches on Parton's phone about how to treat and get rid of bruising, 2 of those searches deleted, and the prosecution replaying the interrogation admission by Parton that she physically disciplined Hannah by poking her in the chest, shaking her, and hitting her with a closed fist. Now, the defense telling the jury that the bruising on Hannah was caused by accidental falls or abuse by her father or her father's friend. The defense explaining away the interrogation admission by saying that Parton was bullied and coerced into false admissions and the physical discipline just never happened. And the defense explaining that the Google searches on how to treat and get rid of bruising was merely a caring babysitter trying to make a little girl look and feel better.
Just to get her to stop whining, because she says, after I shook her, yeah, she stopped whining. And that 115-pound woman, which I'll point out to you is more than 3 times the weight of Hannah, she shook that 32-pound child hard enough, and I submit to you as any adult could, she shook her hard enough that shortly after, Hannah lost consciousness.
The blunt force injury was caused by Jason Wesche, Chris Davis, or someone else while they were out on the evening of the 7th, because the history is all provided by Jason. She fell on the ice. She fell in the back seat.
Well, this jury made up of 5 men and 7 women. As you can see, they have their hands full, and I'm told that they just broke for the day. They're back tomorrow morning at 9. Reporting live from Hamilton, David Winter, Local 12 News.
All right, thank you, David. So again, we will let you know if they go back to deliberations tomorrow. We're staying on this case, and we'll let you know when the jury does reach a verdict. Well, we enjoyed the warmest weather we have seen since last year today. Really nice if you got a chance to enjoy it. I did a little bit.
Beautiful day. Meteorologist Paul Poteet joins us now to put a damper on the whole thing.
And here comes the wet blanket. But not until late tonight and into tomorrow morning. So you still have some time to play. Let's see what time. The sun sets at 8:12 this evening. So you still got 3 hours. Hopefully you got your work done because there's still plenty of sunshine out there. In case you're curious, it's the warmest day actually since October 9th of last year. That was the last time we were even above 80. And at one point we were at 81 this afternoon at CVG. So that's the high for the day. Same thing at Lunken. Batavia's at 81 right now. Brookville 82. So it's pretty widespread around here. So we've been talking about that cold front. How close is it? Still in the 70s in Illinois, but over to the Illinois western border there by the river, you can see some showers still wrapped up around the low. Okay, there's the cold front. Chicago at 55 right now, 33 in Minneapolis, and there's still snow falling up to the north. So that eventually will come this way. There's even a chance of some severe weather to the west of us late night tonight. So as far as the arrival time on that for around here, not through this evening. It'll stay in the 70s through the evening, 72 at 10 o'clock tonight. But tomorrow morning, rain on the way into work. We'll time that out. Show you the 7-day forecast in a few minutes, Rob.
Paul, thanks a lot. Ohio's governor signs a controversial bill this afternoon imposing one of the nation's toughest abortion restrictions. But the American Civil Liberties Union is also promising to sue the state to try to block it. Governor Mike DeWine says he wants to challenge the Supreme Court precedent, the so-called heartbeat bill, cleared the state legislature yesterday. It bans abortions as early as 5 or 6 weeks before some women even know they're pregnant. The law does not include exceptions in the case of rape and incest. Courts block similar heartbeat laws in 2 other states. The governor supports breaks with his predecessor, John Kasich, you may recall, a fellow Republican, twice vetoed it on the grounds it would spark a costly court challenge. A judge gives a local man a life sentence today for raping 2 young girls over a 9-year period. A Warren County jury found Eric Ruggles of Franklin guilty in March. The girls ranged in age from 4 to 12 years old at the time of the crimes. The prosecutor says they showed great courage in standing up to their abuser. Ruggles will also be listed as a sex offender for life. He won't be eligible for parole for at least 2 decades.
We now know a firework was to blame for an explosion that cost a young boy his left hand. 12-year-old Caleb Bogan also lost a finger on his right hand, part of his chin, and several teeth. He and a friend lit the firework after finding it at an alley in Oxford on March 19th. Police say it was about the size of a baseball and already had a charred wick. These types of pyrotechnics are supposed to go high into the air with a lifting charge before they explode, but this one went off very quickly while Caleb was holding it. Officers say that they could not figure out from where it originated. A fire sends a thick black plume of smoke into the air that could be seen for miles. It broke out just after 11:30 this morning in Wilder. We're told a pallet of tires and truck parts caught fire behind Bray Truck and Parts on Williams Way. 3 different departments worked to put out the flames as smoke filled the Licking River Valley. No one was hurt.
Facing a judge after years in exile, coming up why WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange is now behind bars.
It's cancer with one of the worst survival rates. Ahead at 5:30, a survivor shares her story, and a local doctor sheds light on promising new treatments.
In Cincinnati, this is who we are. A warm welcome. A nice to see you. A door opened wide. We like our ice cream and our chili, but our city is much more. It's family. It's a feeling. It's home. This is your city. This is your news. Thanks for making Local 12 your home.
You have one key weapon. You got us.
Local 12 investigates.
By donating a car to St. Vincent de Paul, you can feed a family.
You give a bed to my daughter.
Giving a vehicle of hope is simple and may be tax deductible. Click or call 421-CARE and we'll handle the pickup and paperwork. For more than 100 years, AAA has kept America's cars on the road.
And no one is better equipped to care for your car than AAA Bob Summerall Tire and Service. Our ASE certified mechanics know cars from bumper to bumper and which tires you need to get where you're going. Count on AAA to keep your car running right today and down the road.
This month, get up to $150 off Cooper tires at AAA Bob Summerall Tire and Service.
The McCabe Lumber Deck Expo is Saturday. See all the latest deck and railing products from the best brands with special one-day-only discounts. Register to win Trex Outdoor Furniture and a Traeger Grill. And they'll be grilling Queen City sausages. The McCabe Lumber Deck Expo this Saturday.
Jack says, make every minute count. It's 500 on the 15s at Jack's Cincinnati Casino. Fridays and Saturdays in April, we're giving away $500 in cash every 15 minutes. Earn entries playing your favorite machine or table game. Drawings every 15 minutes, Friday and Saturday nights from 5 to 9 p.m. 500 on the 15s, only at Jack's Cincinnati Casino.
At Family Allergy and Asthma, every day is an opportunity to help our patients.
We treat more people than anyone in the region.
Allergies can severely impact your quality of life.
We offer personalized treatment plans to help patients of all ages find relief.
With locations throughout Greater Cincinnati, our doctors are always nearby.
Helping patients live a better life is why we do what we do. Family Allergy and Asthma, the trusted leader in allergy care.
Election systems in all 50 states were targeted by Russians in 2016, not just 21 states as previously reported. The FBI and Department of Homeland Security say the Russian government engaged in, quote, malicious and suspicious cyber hacking activity on election websites and networks. The agencies did not provide any further details. They hope the findings will help state and local officials become more aware and monitor suspicious activity on their election networks.
After 7 years holed up in an embassy in London, a dramatic sequence of events today for the founder of WikiLeaks. Julian Assange was arrested and dragged to court. Now, as Ian Lee reports, he could end up in the U.S. to face charges.
Julian Assange was dragged from the Ecuadorian embassy in London. Disheveled and transformed with a thick beard, the 47-year-old WikiLeaks founder shouted, "The UK must resist."
They must resist.
London police made the arrest after Ecuador withdrew Assange's asylum status. Once in custody, he was hit with an indictment from the U.S. Justice Department. It accuses him of conspiring with former U.S. intelligence analyst Chelsea Manning to hack into a Pentagon computer in 2010. Assange published thousands of classified government documents on WikiLeaks. His attorney says they will fight the U.S. extradition request, but that they knew this day would come.
I've just been with Mr. Assange in the police cells. He wants to thank all of his supporters for their ongoing support, and he said, "I told you so."
Assange flashed a peace sign as he arrived at court, where the judge quickly found him guilty of skipping bail in 2012.
The judge blasted Assange, rejecting his excuse that he didn't get a fair hearing. He called him a narcissist who couldn't get beyond his own selfish interests.
After 7 years, Assange had worn out his welcome at the Ecuadorian embassy. The country's president described him as discourteous and aggressive. Lawmakers in Washington said Assange should be returned to the U.S. to face charges.
I'm glad the wheels of justice are finally turning. He will get a fair trial, but he deserves to go to trial.
An extradition hearing is scheduled for May 2nd, when Assange will appear in court by video from his prison cell. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
Sweden dropped a long-running rape case against Assange in 2017. Now a prosecutor says his accuser is interested in reopening it.
Pushing for a crackdown ahead at 6, the new demands to punish robocallers. And a vandal strikes a massive piece of art celebrating toys. Next, how people are coming together to repair the mutilated mural.
Hi, I'm Jeff. In my Johnsonville commercial, we open up in the forest. I'm out in the wild eating my breakfast, and all of a sudden, a raccoon come up and asked me, "Are those bigger patties?" I said, "Yep." Wolf comes in and says, "Wow, that's a lot of sausage." And we had a good laugh about that. Johnsonville breakfast sausage has 15% larger patties. Fits on a biscuit.
Guaranteed low price, or it's free at Furniture Fair.
There was a time when we were permitted to play, to bask, to frolic, to whisper sweet nothings late into the languid afternoon. There was a time when we gathered bouquets and fell in love under soft cherry blossom skies. It was a vibrant time. It was this morning at Biltmore. Save $10 and get a free audio tour when you purchase advance tickets online.
Help protect what's most important with our family of safety technologies. The 2019 Nissan Rogue comes with automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection standard. Part of Nissan's Safety Shield 360. Protection you won't get from the 2019 CR-V or Equinox. Nissan Rogue. The safety tech you want and more.
Get here today for a low $230 per month lease on Rogue. Or get 0% financing for up to 60 months on 14 models.
Now the most exciting tech you own is in your driveway.
More than $3,500 in donations will help restore one of Cincinnati's most beloved murals. Someone defaced it with graffiti the weekend of March 30th. This painting on West Court Street is one of 180 permanent works around the city, provided by the nonprofit Artworks. Cincinnati Toy Heritage features some of the most popular toys designed by Kenner, a company founded here in 1947.
Next weekend, MLS teams, including FC Cincinnati, will wear special jerseys made with recycled ocean plastic as part of the league's Earth Day initiatives. And they're made in conjunction with a company called Parley, which reworks intercepted plastic waste into technical fibers that can be used in either apparel or footwear. Fans can also buy the limited edition kits. They went on sale today online at FCC's downtown store. And team players will also take part in a cleanup project around the tri-state ahead of Earth Day. Meantime, the Orange and Blue face one of the toughest tests of the inaugural MLS season this weekend, traveling to the West Coast to face the league's top team, Western Conference leaders Los Angeles FC. The match kicks off at 10:30 Eastern on Saturday night, and you can watch it on Star 64.
From Local 12, the Weather Authority, this is Paul Poteet's hour-by-hour forecast.
Rob, would it surprise you to know the pollen count's high today?
No, and it might also choke me.
Don't get choked up. But it is pretty high at 232, just in case you're wondering what you heard there. The mold count, though, is low, and the air quality index is good today. So that's the worst thing that we could find about today. The pollen count has been high for the last couple of days. Otherwise, get out, 80 degrees. That's actually can be updated. It hit 81 at one point in the 2 o'clock hour this afternoon. These are high temperatures for the day today. Detroit at 48. Chicago's only made it up to 55, but it's been 79 in St. Louis, low 80s to the south. So there's a definite boundary here. There's a very dynamic system in the middle part of the country. We were showing you those temperatures last night where it was late at night, it was in the upper 70s in Kansas and already cooling back into Colorado. So this is about right. I mean, typically our first 80-degree day would come right around April 15th. It can be as early as March. That happened back in 1976. It could be as late as the middle of May. That happened in 1997. And last year, it was April 13th, so we're right on it here, and first of, I'm sure, many to come. There have been, at times, high clouds around today, so it's been partly to mostly cloudy, and it's still officially 80 degrees right now. But the wind has picked up out of the south at 21 miles an hour, so that's ahead already of this big weather maker to the west. So we're already getting some effects from it. As far as the rain and the storms, that will be most pronounced in Illinois. That's 11:30 this evening. Showers and storms that have at least a slight risk of becoming severe. They will lose a little bit of punch as they come to the east here in the middle of the night. Into the tri-state, probably right around the time the rush hour starts tomorrow morning. The early part of it does at 5 a.m. So not so much with the rain amounts, but the timing is going to be lousy for tomorrow. Right through the morning rush hour, there are going to be periods of rain. The worst of it will probably end about the time of the morning rush hour, and then we'll just have some lingering showers till about noon or 1, and then that's it as far as that goes. So tomorrow morning, be ready to rumble. Thunder possible. 63 degrees in the morning. At noontime, you'll notice that it's gone down a little bit, and then with some sun in the afternoon, it'll bounce back up to 66. So the big problem out west, these are wind advisories from Indiana westward, and then blizzard warnings and such. The problem is they're going to get all of this snow, in some cases up to a foot of snow, and then there's also rain to deal with. Over the next 7 days, they're going to see another inch of rain possibly. We could see an inch and a half around here. Their problem back out to the west is, you may recall, they just came off of dealing with floods, and so now they got to get some more moisture into the picture. Make sure you've got our weather app. Get online and on your iPhone or Google Play. Search WKRC. We're going to be in the 60s the next couple of days. That's still a little above average, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So Friday morning looks like a mess. Friday afternoon's okay. Saturday's good. And then Sunday. What did we decide yesterday? It was a washout.
Washout,
Literally declared it a washout. A little cooler on Monday, bouncing back up then again by Tuesday next week.
Good. Paul, thanks very much.
Okay.
Well, it's being called a nationwide crisis, putting children's lives in danger just ahead what schools are doing without nurses.
And allowing children online can feel like the Wild West. You never know what's hiding in those videos. Tonight at 11 o'clock, 2 things you can do to protect your child.
In every Honda is the soul of a race car, and at the Honda Dream Garage Spring Event, you can take some of it home. With a Honda CR-V, pretty cool, or a Honda HR-V. And they each come with sport mode. Speaking of something with a kick, I could really use an espresso. Guess it only works on cars.
Get a great deal on a Honda CR-V, awarded the 2019 Best SUV Brand by U.S. News & World Report at the Honda Dream Garage Spring Event.
Yes! I won! Ow!
That's gross, but it happens. Call Stanley Steamer and get back to clean.
Stanley Steamer gets your home cleaner.
Leave it to the pros. I am a pro. I made this lawn from seed, pride, and less water than you'd think. To those who'd say the grass is greener on the other side, I politely disagree. Pennington Smart Seed, guaranteed to grow with 30% less water. Reclaim your turf.
The Papa John's handcrafted specialty menu is here with 6 new pizzas, like Ultimate Pepperoni. It's the pepperoni lovers love. Only better. No artificial flavors, no artificial colors. Just mounds of pepperoni over our 3 signature cheeses. So what are you waiting for? Invite your pepperoni pals, your zesty Italian lovers, and your Philly cheesesteak fanatics. The more the merrier. For a limited time, get any large specialty pizza for just $12. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
It's hard to imagine, but 25 years ago, these 2 guys started Simply Money. Today, we're officially changing our name to Allworth Financial. Same great company, even more services, brand new name.
Make your dreams come true at Superior Honda.
The Dream Garage Spring Event is on. And what better time than now to drive home in a dreamy new Honda? Sign and drive a new 2019 Civic today for as little as $239 a month. Or your choice of a new 2019 Accord or CR-V. Both just $279 a month with 0 due at signing. Find your dream deal at SuperiorHondaStore.com.
You dream it, you drive it. Just ask for me, for Zach, Superior Honda.
Simply superior.
It's an issue that some call a growing national crisis. Only 3 out of 5 schools across the country have full-time school nurses.
Yeah, as Hillary Lane found, it often forces staff with no medical training to step in and provide some level of care.
Did the school district fail your child?
Yeah, they failed him always. Right? They weren't there to help him.
Last October, Rasheen Presley's 9-year-old son, Hassan, collapsed in the school cafeteria. He was rushed to the hospital where he was later pronounced dead of heart failure.
My only son. What nobody there to help me? Nothing.
There was no school nurse on duty that day. According to a Philadelphia school district official, staff certified in CPR tried to revive Hassan, who'd been born with a heart defect. It's unknown had a school nurse been there that day if they would have been able to save Rasheen's son. Did Miss Millie talk to you before? There are no federal laws regulating school nurse staffing, but the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends at least 1 registered nurse in every school, a standard many districts are failing to meet.
That is a crisis.
Donna Mazik, the executive director of the National Association of School Nurses, says 40% of schools across the country don't have a full-time nurse, and 25% don't have a nurse at all.
It's not acceptable. Students deserve what they need in order to be in school and ready to learn.
So now time for school number 2.
Yes, we'll go to Bushy Park, my elementary school.
Deanie Gorby-Crease is a school nurse in Howard County, Maryland, who covers 2 schools a day. She has health assistants at each school who call her with questions when she's not in the building.
If I'm busy with an emergency at my other school, I'm not available right away, so it might delay their care some.
Look at my nose. In Cincinnati, Ohio, where nurses were also sometimes covering more than one school, they're tackling the problem through a partnership with Cincinnati Children's Hospital.
We now are able to provide routine primary care services for all of the students in the building as well as any child in the community.
They've opened health centers in schools to close the gap.
So students get services here no different than they do in a pediatrician's office.
In the wake of his son's death, Rasheen Presley says schools must find a way to provide care for all students.
If you ain't got no nurses at the school, you might as well teach your kids at home. That's just common sense.
Hillary Lane, CBS News.
Well, ahead on Local 12 News, live at 5:30, she became known as the Tri-State's Ice Queen.
And now she's heading to prison for a drug operation that stretched from Mexico to our area.
That is all that mattered to me on that day, is that I could get home and get back to my family. And I don't forget that.
She was trapped when a gunman stormed the Fifth Third Center downtown. Ahead, her new mission to protect others from danger.
And up next, I'm Liz Bonus, inspiring others not to give up hope in the fight against ovarian cancer. We share details and how you can support them just ahead.
Spring fever? Jake's got the cure. Save up to 20% on Chevy Trax and Equinox. 20%? Now that's a spring fever deal. Only at Jake Sweeney Chevrolet, Tri-County.
JakeSweeney.com. Bob Evans has always been the place to get a great meal for a great price, and our home-style fried chicken is no exception. For a limited time, get a 2-piece meal for $7.99 or feed a group for just $19.99.
Bob Evans, down on the farm.
Testicular cancer can sometimes affect male fertility. Expert Dr. Lawrence Jenkins is here to tell us what men should know.
So the most important thing is that they understand their options. A lot of times patients are so concerned about the cancer in itself that they don't think long-term about survival and their lives after they're treated.
How have fertility options changed?
For adults, the main options are sperm cryopreservation, and kids who have cancer diagnosis and have yet to reach puberty, they have yet to form sperm yet. So the research is moving to look at preserving testicular tissue in hopes one day use that in the future for reproduction.
When should men start talking with their doctors about this?
Fertility preservation is something that should be talked about at the beginning of their cancer diagnosis. So it's something that should be done very early.
To learn more, visit cancer.osu.edu/blog.
We are loving the ride in this new Camry XSE.
I got all the magic right here at my fingertips. I got paddle shifters up front because, let's do it if we got it.
Who doesn't love a paddle shifter?
And it's great that Camry's built right here in the USA.
All right, we got our apples, our cider.
Now get $1,500 cash back on any new 2019 Camry. Or a low-mileage lease for just $219 a month.
Toyota, let's go places.
Breaking news alerts and the hour-by-hour forecast from the Weather Authority. This is Local 12 News.
Good evening, I'm Paula Toti.
I'm Rob Braun. Survivor Whitney Austin was shot 12 times in the attack at the Fifth Third Center last fall. 3 other people and the shooter were killed.
Whitney was rescued after she became trapped in a revolving door during the shooting. Local 12's Catherine Robinson sat down with her and shows us her mission to end gun violence in a bipartisan way.
I can't get those thoughts, those visions out of my head of being stuck at that revolving door. So that is something that will drive me and propel me for the rest of my life.
Whitney Austin still feels the pain of being shot 12 times in the mass shooting at Fifth Third Bank Center. The businesswoman, wife, and mother of two always cared about ending gun violence. But since September 6th, she's turned her pain into a positive force through her nonprofit, Whitney Strong.
I vowed once I was out of the revolving door and sitting on the flagpole bench and thought, you know, there's a much greater chance that I'm going to survive this situation. I vowed I'm going to do something about this.
Austin says the organization focuses on common sense solutions for promoting responsible gun ownership and ending violence. This year, Whitney Strong is focused on establishing suicide prevention programs in Kentucky and Ohio, ensuring that no prohibited person has access to firearms, and getting extreme risk protection orders in Kentucky and Ohio.
I absolutely already know that I have made a difference from, you know, the meetings that I've had from politicians and the topics that I'm bringing to them that weren't even on their radar, and now they're forced into investigating them and considering their position. Maybe I don't get them to vote yes, maybe I don't get them to submit the bill, but now they're thinking about this in a way that they didn't before because I'm their constituent.
Katie Coburn wrote the article for Cincinnati Magazine.
I wanted the story to be like all-encompassing, so focus on the actual day, the events, what motivated Whitney to launch her nonprofit, and then the plans and where she's going to take her nonprofit.
Austin now considers herself the luckiest person in the world to make it out alive, to have her family, and a mission she plans to see through. Catherine Robinson, Local 12 News.
And Whitney Austin says she is grateful to Cincinnati police officer Alfonso Staples and Dr. Michael Goodman for saving her life.
A thief is busy in a local neighborhood. Oxford police say the guy in this surveillance video has been breaking into cars on Ogden Court, Wells Mill, and McGuffey. Investigators want help identifying him. So if you have any information that may help investigators, please call Oxford Police. There's a new image of the suspects in a holdup at a local bar. Police are sharing this picture of the suspects outside the bar. We showed you this surveillance video of the terrifying encounter inside the C&D in Northside a couple of weeks ago. Two men stormed in and one had a gun. A man walked behind the bar, forcing the bartender away after opening the register. Some of the money that was stolen was being raised for charity. The other suspect takes a purse from a woman who's sitting at the bar. If you know who they are, call Crime Stoppers. 352-3040 is the number.
A man is killed while changing his daughter's oil. It happened on Cardinal Avenue in Ross Township just before 3 this afternoon. Dennis Ross was under a minivan when it slipped off the jack. A woman the feds call the Ice Queen was a key player in a meth ring that connected the tri-state to the Mexican mafia, but no more. Today, a federal judge sentenced Stacey Howell to 20 years in prison. Investigators say she led a ring that got high-grade drugs from Mexico and sold them to the streets here. The ring was operating for 3 years, starting in 2012 until an indictment in 2015. 8 members of the organization have been sentenced so far. A 99-year-old woman and other tenants won't be forced from their homes right away to make room for FCC's new stadium. Today, Jeff Birding of FCC announced Mary Page can stay in her home until a new one is found for her. Page has lived in her home on Wade Street in the West End for decades. Officials say the building's old owner is helping the tenants to find new homes.
Kentucky's largest school district receives a subpoena from Governor Matt Bevin's office asking for the names of teachers who might have used sick days to rally at the state capitol. The sick outs last month forced some districts to shut down a few days while Kentucky's legislature was in session this year. Teachers lobbied against a bill to give tax credits for families sending children to private schools. The Kentucky Labor Cabinet sent the subpoena Wednesday to Jefferson County Public Schools. That's in Louisville.
Oh, there are some new signs of momentum in Washington to crack down on drug companies.
The latest proposal in Congress is to require companies that drastically raise their prices to say why. Christine Frizzell reports.
On the advice of counsel, I invoke my Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination and respectfully decline to answer your question.
It's hard to forget Martin Shkreli, who, while at the helm of Turing Pharmaceuticals, raised the price of Daraprim from $13.50 to $750. Or when Mylan raised the price of its EpiPen from $57 to $600. The White House has now signaled it wants drug companies to reveal list prices in TV ads.
I think a lot of companies are going to be embarrassed by having everyone know just what their list prices are. It's something that they've worked to not make available.
Now Congress appears full speed ahead. A new proposal, the Stopping the Pharmaceutical Industry from Keeping Drugs Expensive, or SPIKE Act, would require drug companies to justify drastic price hikes if they increase more than 10% or $10,000 in 1 year, 25% or $25,000 over 3 years, or if the drug has a launch price of $26,000 or more.
We in Congress are simply asking them to explain to us and to taxpayers why such launch prices and annual price increases are so high.
Republican Tom Reed of New York and Nevada Democrat Stephen Horsford co-sponsored the legislation.
Everyone is facing the same problem, which is being able to pay for the life-saving medications people need to stay healthy, or being able to afford to pay the rent or the mortgage.
The SPIKE Act is modeled after a Nevada law that passed in 2017 requiring transparency from the manufacturers of the diabetes drug insulin after its price rose a whopping 197%. There, an attempt by drug manufacturers to block the law failed.
They filed a lawsuit. The lawsuit was ultimately dismissed.
Supporters say they hope it's a sign of things to come. In Washington, I'm Christine Frizzell.
Court documents paint a terrifying picture of a teen forced into a life of sex trafficking. Ahead at 5:30, the brutality of a local operation that will likely send 2 men to prison for years.
Getting your groceries will soon go high-tech. Next, details on the major facility coming to a local community.
Good morning, Captain Abraham. It's 0812, and the wheels of justice are spinning smoothly.
There has been an Article 99 charge.
Article 99? The military hasn't tried anyone for cowardice in 15 years.
You're the officers from Quantico?
I'm Captain Dobbins. I'm your attorney.
RPG!
Why don't you tell us what happened?
I am no coward.
Your life can be about more than just this.
The Code on its new night, CBS Monday.
Listen, I love to grill, but we don't always have time.
Go get 'em.
That's when Johnsonville flame grilled sausage is perfect. Tastes grilled because Johnsonville already grilled it. So you get that famous Johnsonville flavor any night of the week.
I'm Dr. Trace Curry. Would you like to jumpstart your weight loss with a non-surgical option? Journey Light now offers Obalon, the first FDA-approved swallowable gastric balloon. If you have the will, we have the way. Check out Obalon at JourneyLight.com and get up to $1,500 off.
Looking to make your SUV's blind spots less blind? Well, look no further than the Hyundai Tucson with available blind spot collision warning. It sees things you might not and alerts you to avoid a collision. Knock, knock. The Tucson, one of Hyundai's 10 IIHS top safety picks. The longer you look, the more there is to life.
Now, lease the Tucson for just $189 a month or get up to $3,000 in total savings. Visit buyhyundai.com today.
Every goal, every save, every win, every second counts. It's Kelly Cup playoff time, and your Cincinnati Cyclones are on the quest for their 3rd Kelly Cup.
The first round of the playoffs kicks off this weekend at U.S. Bank Arena. Friday will feature ice cold dollar beers, and Saturday will feature $1 John Morrell hot dogs. It's playoff time in Cincinnati. For ticket information, visit CyclonesHockey.com or call 513-421-PUCK. It's more than just a game.
Mulch, topsoil, demolition and recycling. It's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it. And in Greater Cincinnati, nobody does it better than Evans. Evans has everything you need to make sure your landscaping is picture perfect, including people who don't mind getting their hands dirty so you don't have to do it yourself. Call 271-1119 or visit evanslandscaping.com to order today.
Volunteers roll up their sleeves to get some children a new set of wheels. 100 workers from PNC Bank put together 25 tricycles and 25 wagons today. They'll be given to groups that will distribute them to children.
There's a plan to move a local UDF, but not very far. Local 12 covers news where you live. UDF recently presented plans for a bigger and better store in Mount Washington. The chain plans to take over the old Burger King and gas station lot at Beachmont and Bernie. The new store would replace the one currently on the other corner at the same intersection. Kroger buys land for its first warehouse and distribution center since teaming up with a high-tech retailer from Great Britain. The company bought more than 60 acres on Hamilton-Lebanon Road in Monroe. Kroger announced last year it's teaming up with a company called Ocado to build a facility in the tri-state and one in Florida. Plans call for automated warehouse facilities and digital and robotic capabilities. Kroger says the facilities will make it more efficient to provide customer pickup and home delivery of groceries. Work will begin next month on Fairfield's first roundabout. The project is slated to transform the intersection at Gray and River Roads. Fairfield received a $400,000 grant from the Ohio Public Works Commission. The roundabout aims to improve safety and reduce wait times at the busy intersection.
Well, they have money and free time, and you might be surprised where your teens are spending their money. We made it to 80 degrees today, but Erica warns a big change is coming soon. How this rain on the horizon will impact your morning commute.
Sweet, juicy flavor. Local. Organic. As one of America's largest produce buyers, Kroger gets the pick of the crop at savings we pass on to you. That's peak of the season freshness, priced right.
At Family Allergy, we treat more people for allergies than anyone in the region.
Our personalized treatments help patients of all ages find relief.
With locations throughout Greater Cincinnati, our doctors are always nearby.
Family Allergy and Asthma.
I'm Nathan Backrack, and 25 years ago we founded Simply Money right here in Cincinnati. You may have heard we're changing our name to Allworth Financial. The reason is very simple. Over the years, we've added key financial services like accounting and tax and estate planning to our foundation of investment management and retirement planning. Same great company, little less hair, brand new name, Allworth Financial. Retire better.
Crispy chicken, pit smoked ham, and luau sauce on a Sweet King's Hawaiian bun? It's like we're trying to get you to try it or something.
Arby's, we have the meats.
For sandwiches.
Every branch, on every tree, in every wind, every lightning strike, every wet road, nighttime driver, and rainstorm turned to hail is something you can prepare for. With AAA Auto and Home Insurance, coverage from the people who've spent over 100 years helping members be prepared. Talk with a AAA insurance agent today.
As we begin our 30th year at TK, I would like to thank the 8,000 plus happy customers that have allowed my family to build them their home. As a family-owned business, our employees are family too. Many have been with TK for a decade or more, and all are passionate about making sure we have happy customers. With all of us having the same mindset, doing what we say we'll do. Visit us today at tkconstructors.com to get your free home buyer's guide.
The excitement is building at TK Constructors now.
Help raise autism awareness by supporting Panera Bread's Pieces of Hope for Autism cookie campaign. Now through April 14th, 100% of proceeds from every delicious puzzle piece cookie will be donated to Cincinnati's Children's Hospital's Kelly O'Leary Center for Autism Spectrum Disorders.
A new survey shows teens are spending $2,600 a year on food, electronics, and clothing. According to researchers, Amazon ranks first as their favorite shopping destination. Chick-fil-A won the top spot for fast food chains, and Nike holds first place for favorite footwear brand. Boys are spending the most on food compared to teen girls. They're racking up big bills for clothing.
Local 12, School of the Week, sponsored by Duke Energy.
At Holly Hill Elementary in Amelia, a kind word or caring action goes a long way. Local 12's Perry Shively shows us how the school is being recognized for an incentive program that rewards positive behavior.
Here at Holly Hill, they're called the Huskies, and they have an incentive program that plays off the name of that mascot. It's the Husky Paw program, and when kids are caught being good, they're given a signed ticket that they keep until they have enough for a prize. Points can be given out by just about anyone here at Holly Hill, the principal, teachers, custodians, cafeteria workers, even the bus drivers. It's gone a long way in creating a positive culture within the school. Tickets are turned in on Thursdays, and the kids are awarded with things like the principal's chair, Chair, which is a spinny chair that they can take to their classroom for the day, erasers, or even the most popular prize, Game with a Friend. If that's their choice, the students get to choose a friend to play air hockey or foosball after their lunch on donated tables. Husky Pawls are for all students in preschool through 5th grade.
Holly Hill's doing great things. We've come a long way in the last few years. We've won the Momentum Award for the state for the last 2 years. And, you know, the staff's going in the right direction. The kids are going in the right direction, and we're doing a lot of great things.
The teachers here have also planned some lock-ins, and what they do once a month, about 100 to 140 kids stay after school into the evening, giving their parents some time alone at home, and the kids who do crafts and different activities with the teachers here. That's usually a $10 donation, and then the teachers use that money to put some additional items in their classrooms. And those are just a few of the reasons that Holly Hill has been chosen as this week's Duke Energy School of the Week.
If you love your child's school, we want to know about the people who make it so special, and you can nominate your school at local12.com. Click on the station tab and then click on the contests.
You're invited to put on your jeans and jewels and join hundreds of others for an annual event to raise money to fight ovarian cancer. Joining us now with one survivor's story is health anchor Liz Bonus. Liz?
Hey, Paula, good evening once again. Jeans and Jewels is a celebration of life for so many who want to change the odds for survivors. It is coming up April 27th in Loveland, and local survivors are sharing stories of hope to encourage all of us to attend.
I had lower back pain.
Both Shelley Hastings-Toms and Diane Weedman are ovarian cancer survivors. They are raising awareness of traditional symptoms women often don't recognize.
The symptoms of ovarian cancer: bloating, eating difficulties, feeling full quickly, abdominal pain, pelvic pain, or trouble with urination, urgency or frequency.
Our ladies get diagnosed at stage 3 or stage 4. So our survival rate is only 5-year survival rate, 36%, which is one of the worst in cancers.
They joined us along with Dr. Robert Neff of Tri Health today as we were preparing for our Sunday morning 6 a.m. show, What's Happening in Health. They not only want you to attend or even purchase items if you can't attend from the Jeans and Jewels Gala, but they also want us to know there is new therapy, many now in research, that target the areas within a tumor to stop its growth. And is this all part of that targeted therapy that I know you've been raising money for research and whatnot, that we don't look at all patients the same?
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, in her case, and when she is getting it, it's something that we have available for all patients who do respond to that type of chemotherapy. But now we're actually looking at using this even in the upfront setting for patients who do have one of those targeted mutations.
Both Shelley and Diane want to inspire others to never give up hope. As for what keeps them going?
I have an amazing family, an amazing prayer group that keeps me elevated. My priorities have changed. It is faith, family, and friends.
I'm an 8-year and 3-month survivor. Thank God every day that I've got one more day with no chemo and no pain and no cancer.
We thank God, too. Again, this event, April 27th at the receptions in Loveland. I'll be there to help MC it. We'd love to have you join us. There's a link with all the information at local12.com. And you can bid on items to support them, even if you can't be there. That info available online as well. Paula?
Oh, it's a great event. I've been there. Thank you, Liz. The Ovarian Cancer Alliance has raised more than $250,000 for new research projects just in the last few years.
From Local 12, the Weather Authority, this is Erica Calora's hour-by-hour forecast.
Well, I think I heard you say that this wasn't a record, but it sure was warm, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had 81 at the International Airport. Some of us got even warmer than that today. So we were in the lower 80s for a lot of folks across the Local 12 area.
Great day.
We're going to be cooler tomorrow, but still above normal. But we're going to have to deal with the wind, and it's already windy out there. If you haven't been outside, you'll definitely feel it if you step out the door. We're going to have gusts up to about 30 to 40 miles per hour as we see this cold front near the area. So our average high temperature is 63. We hit 81 at the International Airport. That's more of an average for early June. So more of a summer-like feel to the day. And look at these numbers. Upper 70s for Connersville and Liberty now, but we were up at around 80 degrees earlier this afternoon. We're at 82 in Batavia, 83 in Peebles, 83 for Crittenden, and 80s for Brooksville, Owenton. We are going to see this warm front continue to lift northward. That has kind of introduce the warmth into the tri-state, and we're in what's called that warm sector, the area between the warm front and the cold front. This cold front, we're going to see more development here. I know there's not a lot of rain with it now, but this is going to race eastward into tomorrow morning, and that's what's going to trigger the rain chances and also some thunderstorm chances. So tonight's forecast is rain-free. You can still get outside, take the walk, take the jog. It is going to be warm temperatures in the 70s still at 7, lower 70s at 9, mainly cloudy skies still. At 11 o'clock will be around 70 degrees. Still at 11 o'clock we're around 70 degrees. So watch the rain move in tomorrow morning. We're going to start chances around 4 a.m. across our far western corner of the viewing area. That continues to move eastward, so we have better chances closer to 5 or 6 a.m. here in Cincinnati. And some heavier downpours will definitely lower visibility and slow your commute for Friday morning. So just be careful. You may want to leave 5, 10, 15 minutes early for tomorrow's commute. There's 8 a.m. So we're probably going to get into a couple of rounds of rain. So a line of broken downpours and some storms, and then another one behind that. So an early morning one between 5 and 7, and then another one between 8 and 10. After 10 a.m., we're looking at showery activity. So between 10 and about 2 p.m., showers possible, kind of scattered across the area. They will be lighter in nature, not as widespread. And by 1 o'clock, we're pretty much drying out. So we'll be dry for the afternoon. Temperatures hit a high of about 67, and then we'll see temperatures fall back through the 60s. Those breezy conditions will linger through Friday evening and then kind of die down after sunset. Again, this isn't a prolific rainmaker. We're looking at a couple tenths of an inch of rain, maybe above a quarter of an inch if we get under several downpours, but really the models have been pretty consistent over the last several days to bring in anywhere from 1 to 3 tenths of an inch of rain for Friday's rain. Now, winds throughout tonight will be up around 15 to 20 miles per hour. You can see how these yellows and orange shades move in for tomorrow morning, and that's where I expect the highest winds and the highest wind gusts. We could potentially see wind gusts up to 40 or around 40 miles per hour early Friday morning, and sustained winds, those are the numbers that you see here, will be between 15 and 25 miles per hour throughout Friday morning. So if you drive a high-profile vehicle tomorrow morning, you definitely will feel it. Throughout the afternoon, we'll still be breezy, and then by 8 o'clock after sunset, we see those winds calm down. Our next big rainmaker comes in Sunday, and that's going to bring us more rain. It'll be here by Sunday morning, so if you're headed out to church, you're definitely going to need the rain gear. It's going to be more widespread. Some heavy rain at times will be with us, and even some embedded thunderstorms, especially into the afternoon and evening. We're looking at the likelihood of around an inch, even over an inch for some places, and those higher totals look to be situated more to the north and west of Cincinnati. Your 7-day forecast looks like this. So a rainy morning commute for Friday. Highs near 67. We're in the 60s. That's going to be your pick day for the weekend. Saturday's the dry day because Sunday will be soggy. Temperatures will still make it to the 60s, but we cool down big time for Monday. We're starting off around 40 Monday morning, and we only get into those mid-50s Monday afternoon. We dry out for Tuesday, and then our next rainmaker comes in midweek next week on Wednesday and Thursday. Guys, back.
A record number of robocalls are flooding our telephone lines. I'm Natalie Brand on Capitol Hill with how lawmakers are trying to block those unwanted calls.
And tonight on Local 12, the laughs start at 8 with The Big Bang Theory, followed by Young Sheldon. Another episode of The Big Bang Theory follows at 9, and then FAM at 9:30. Then it is time for SWAT at 10. Stay tuned for top stories in the hour-by-hour forecast on Local 12 News live at 11.
Rob Braun and Cammie Deerking, weeknights on Local 12.
Dr. Shirota created Yakult probiotic drink over 80 years ago. Wow, there are so many choices.
Which ones are probiotics? Which ones are not bad?
How about the product with Lactobacillus casei Shirota? Yakult contains the probiotic strain Lactobacillus casei Shirota. Enjoy Yakult with your family.
A ball bounces into the road, followed by your 4-year-old neighbor. This is a CarX moment. Make sure you're prepared. Stop by a CarX, where right now an oil change, tire rotation, and vehicle inspection is just $19.99. $19.99 for a limited time only. Your CarX man provides the best in brakes, tires, and bumper-to-bumper auto repair, so you'll be ready for the next CarX moment.
Don't worry, call the CarX man.
being a disabled veteran and to have a tooth pain on top of severe PTSD will take you down in the dump. After several denials, when I went to Aspen Dental, they gave me a free exam, free x-rays. The doctor comes in and he's like, you are in pain, so we're going to get you taken care of. I had no insurance.
At Aspen Dental, we're all about yes. Like yes to flexible hours and payment options. Yes to 0 down and 0 interest. And yes, we'll take care of you no matter what. Call now at 1-800-ASPEN-DENTAL.
The best part about being a bath fitter installer is the reveal. Homeowners greet us in the morning and love that we're going to install a beautiful new tub right over their old one without tearing the bathroom apart. But they're never quite prepared for what they get come the end of the day. We call it the wow moment. When they see their new bathtub that's high quality and more beautiful than they could have imagined, I can't help but smile. Since it's Bath Fitter, it's built to last a lifetime. We guarantee it.
You too can have a bathroom you'll love. Call now or visit bathfitter.com.
Get 1 gig internet plus Fioptics TV with streaming for $49.99 per month.
Beaten, drugged, and sold for sex, newly unsealed court documents detail the terrible treatment of a tri-state teen.
Her tormentors are locked away, but now one is working to change his guilty plea. Local 12's Elaine Kong shows us how 2 men took over the teen's life.
Sharonville police showed up to the Wood Spring Suites back in 2017, investigating a call about a woman needing help.
And once they got on scene, realized that this was something much more than that and began an investigation.
Dana Taggart with the Sharonville Police Department says the officers acted quickly.
After they began that investigation, realized we were going to need a little more help and contacted the FBI and then started working in conjunction with them to make sure we get these guys behind bars.
Ultimately leading to a sentencing from the U.S. District Courts. 54-year-old Stephen Ritter of Sharonville will be serving 96 months in jail for sex trafficking a minor. Court documents show Ritter's text history with William Pierce Washington before going to the Wood Spring Suites, asking him to bring a woman to the motel. The messages show this isn't the first time they communicated about exchanging money for sex. The Department of Justice says after Ritter forced women to do drugs and have sex with him, he would call William Washington Jr., the brother of William Pierce Washington, to pick the victim up.
It sounds like a typical story of human trafficking.
Samantha Searles is an advocate for sex trafficking survivors. In this case, the 16-year-old girl had run away from a foster home in Claremont County and was forced to use crack and heroin.
So it's an easy substance to use to control people.
This girl was groomed for prostitution. When she left the foster home, she stayed with her cousin. That cousin was living with William Pierce Washington. The brothers physically and mentally abused her. During an interview with detectives, she says they threw her downstairs and beat her. In Sharonville, Elaine Kong, Local 12 News.
Both brothers pleaded guilty after their arrest in 2017 for sex trafficking a minor. Washington Jr., though, has since filed a withdrawal to his guilty plea. The court has yet to rule on that.
And that's all the time we have at 5:30. Now it is time for Local 12 News, live at 6.
Breaking news alerts and the hour-by-hour forecast from the Weather Authority. This is Local 12 News.
His last name was I love you, Gran. And he went out the door. And when he went out the door, I heard the shots.
A single act of violence can affect families and survivors for years. Now a new initiative is connecting victims with people who can make a difference.
8 days of testimony about a toddler's death. It comes to an end, putting a babysitter's fate in the hands of strangers.
There are no blue robocalls or red robocalls. There are just irritating robocalls.
An issue Republicans and Democrats can't agree on, the bipartisan effort to make fraudsters feel the pain for their annoying calls. This is Local 12 News, live at 6. Good evening, everybody. I'm Rob Braun.
And I'm Paula Toti. If you've ever been the victim of a crime, you may or may not know all of your rights.
Each year, police and activists across the country work to help, especially during National Crime Victims' Rights Week. Angela Ingram explains how groups help victims and their families navigate the system.
I want everyone to know that When you take a life, you take a whole family. You don't just take the one person.
Marcus Daniels' whole family is still suffering since someone murdered him in 2012. He had been caring for his sick grandmother when he was gunned down outside of her Madisonville home.
We went out the door, I heard the shots, and they kept shooting and kept shooting and kept shooting.
Like hundreds of other local families, the Daniels family is waiting for justice. And this week, National Crime Victims' Rights Week, there have been several events to help them, including a Victims' Rights Summit that advocate Hope Dudley puts together.
Sometimes victims